Enjoying secrets of a sugar daddy? How about a little something extra? Here's today's dose of extra sugar with Marcus.
Hey, I'm Marcus, and welcome to this segment of Extra Sugar. Hey guys, if you want to see behind-the-scenes photos and videos and lots of good stuff at our party that we just had, go to our Patreon. We'd love to have you part of our family. It's at patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy podcast. And it's free. It's absolutely free to join, no risk. And then if you want to be a big supporter of the show and open up the entire Patreon site, we have some tiers as low as $10 a month. And that, like I said, opens up the chats. And then we have some options for coaching and profile reviews. So we'd love to see you there. You are going to find a family that you didn't know you had. Anyway, today I'm going to get right to it. We are at the party. The party is actually winding down. I have a guest who went through hell and high water to get here. And we're going to chat with her because I think once she got here, she experienced something very, very special. So welcome, Hazel.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, you're from Canada, right?
Yes.
I guess let's get some basics before we get into too much. How old are you?
42.
Oh, you look amazing. People have been telling you that, haven't they?
Yes, it's been wonderful
It's
here.
absolutely true, though.
Yeah. My birthday was last weekend.
Really? Well,
Yes.
happy birthday. So
Thank
this
you.
party was in celebration of your birthday?
Absolutely. And I couldn't have asked for a better celebration.
Right? Okay. So let's just get a little background on you, and then we're going to talk about this crazy party that we've just experienced. You have been sugar dating, or you're fairly new, right?
Very new, yes.
Yeah. So what prompted you to jump on the site and find my podcast? How'd you find us?
Google search.
Just Google search?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually I was really lucky to come across it because I had seen articles and I had watched YouTube videos, but a lot of it was interesting stuff, but it wasn't very relatable to me. And then when I came across the podcast, just trying to find more information, it was fantastic. Like, it just changed the way that I viewed sugar dating. It made me feel like I could actually do this. Like, okay, great. I'm going to actually participate in this. There were a lot of great guests that were my age and that had similar backgrounds to me. So that really, again, made it very relatable to me, made it something that I could do. Mm-hmm. And this is by far, I know you get told this a lot, but by far the best source of information. Everything is so well put together. The interviews, all of the different diverse opinions, the diverse backgrounds that come into this. It's the best thing I found by far.
Aw, well, thank you. Appreciate the kind words. All right. Well, so have you been married?
Yes.
Okay. So how long were you married?
I'm currently married.
Ooh,
So, yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. What?
So I've been married for 8 years, and I would say legally married, emotionally separated.
Gotcha.
So my husband and I, we get along great. We really fell in love based on being in love with the idea of building a family.
Yeah.
So we both wanted that 1950s style family. We grew up in broken homes. So for us, we really wanted that. We wanted the dream, the white picket fence and the happy family. And we built that. We did a great job building that together. We have 2 young children. We realized early on that the chemistry between us wasn't there. But
That's tough.
It is. I think it's a common story.
Yeah, it happened to me.
Yeah.
And I'd say this, but within the first 30 days of getting married, I realized I made a big mistake. But mine ended up lasting 16 years. I mean, I didn't give up. I didn't get married to get divorced. I thought we would grow in love. We would just fall in love as we spent more time together. Oh, boy, was I naive.
Yeah, exactly. No, really, whatever. The foundation is kind of laid and you built the house on top. Mm-hmm. And when that foundation already has cracks in it and you start adding the pressure of the marriage and the responsibilities of living together, and then you add children on top of that, that foundation, was never really solid enough to handle any of that.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people just ignore it, right? They just keep kicking the can down the road and ignoring it, hoping it will get better. The reality is most of the time it doesn't.
Right. It's tough.
If it does for some people, that's great, but for most, it doesn't. So I was lucky that we were able to have that kind of conversation and talk about it. And about 4 years ago, he had asked me to open up the marriage, which I was okay with. It was really my choice not to be intimate. And I understood from his point of view. He said 99% of everything we have is great, but the intimacy is missing. And obviously, for a man, that's a major portion of the marriage. And I understood that. So I said, yeah, I understand, and you can do that. And my suggestion originally was escorting, because I thought, you're not going to want to have an emotional affair.
Right.
Because you're still in this marriage, and we still live together, and we still keep that family unit for our children. Their lives have not changed at all.
Wow, this is so interesting.
So they would have no idea that mommy and daddy have anything going on. So I thought escorting. I was like, you go, you have your release. And I didn't ever think he could be able to have an affair, because the emotional aspect, I thought if you bring another woman into the picture, she's not going to be okay with the fact that you're still living with your wife and still participating in this family. He was very resistant to that idea, because he wanted the romance. Now, we'd have a don't ask, don't tell, just to keep the peace, so we don't have any resentments that build up, no jealousy. I don't ask, but I believe he has a sugar baby.
Really?
I really do. So he has a second apartment, and he goes there once a month.
Oh, man.
And he has a couple days a week. Like, I see the activity. I don't ask questions. I don't go through his stuff. But I see the activity that 4 years ago I wouldn't have recognized. But now that I understand sugar dating, I recognize some of this activity. I think he has a sugar baby. And then about 2 years ago, when my children were a bit more independent, I said, hey, can I participate in this opening up of the marriage too? Because for the first 2 years, my children were so young that I really never got to leave the house.
Yeah.
Total stay-at-home mom. And he said, yeah, I understand. That's fine. And so I kind of took my own route and started being able to explore things on my own.
Wow. How foreign did this feel to you once you decided you were going to step out?
Good question. Very, very nervous at first, because for so many years I had made my family my duty. And I didn't see myself as a sexual person, and I didn't see myself in that way anymore. For a lot of women, you become mom and you lose who you are. You're just mom. And so it was really difficult for me. I was really nervous, and I didn't know if I could do it. I had this fantasy in my head, but fantasy and reality are two different things. And so I wasn't expecting it to be this easy, to be honest. It went far better than I had expected.
Okay, so how old are your children now?
Under 10.
Under
Still
10.
quite
Okay.
young, yeah.
So, and they have no idea that mom and dad are kind of doing their own thing?
Not at all.
Wow.
They even know that dad has his own apartment, but they think of it like it's his man cave. That's how we explain it. Like, it's his place where he goes, and he can have fun, and you guys can go there with him and have a pizza party. And we don't act any different. There's no arguing. There's no drama. There's no bitterness. We 100% act the exact same as we always did, because we always had that in our marriage. Like, we have that friendship. And none of that changed. The only thing that changed was releasing the pressure of having these arguments about intimacy.
Yeah.
So that once that was gone, we get along even better now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Are there things now that he really appreciates about you that he kind of got lost, he forgot about, because you're there every day, and it's hard to appreciate somebody every single day? But when you meet somebody else, and let's say, you go out to dinner, or you have you're in an event with somebody else, sometimes that person just starts rubbing you, and you're like, oh, I really appreciate so-and-so. I can see now, why I fell in love with her in the beginning, or, it kind of reignites passion sometimes. Has that happened at all?
I don't think so. I think we both came to a point where maybe the chemistry it was okay in the very, very beginning, but maybe the chemistry was never really quite there enough. And we've both, because it's an amicable separation, but we have been through our really tough and bitter moments.
Yeah.
And so I think that has...
Have you guys done any therapy?
No. Well, but we're both really good at talking and expressing our feelings and being very open. So there's not hidden things, there's not little secrets, things like that. When it comes to the sugar dating, like I said, we don't share intimate details about where we are and what we're doing. But there's never really been any issue between us with any...
So have you told him that's exactly what you're doing?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm usually going shopping or visiting family or doing other things.
But you didn't tell him, I'm going to get on this site called Seeking? You just kept it to yourself?
I absolutely kept that to myself.
Yeah.
And I think if I were to tell him, I don't think he would really be bothered by it.
Well, I mean, he's got to expect... What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right?
And like I said, when I asked for the open marriage part, there was no argument about it. He was okay with it. Mm-hmm. My only thing is, I'm not looking to hurt him. I understand that my decision not to be intimate with him broke his heart. I get that. And I've tried to make up for that by being a really good wife and mother to his children in all the other ways. But I don't want to rub it in his face that, hey, I wouldn't be intimate with you, but guess what? I'm out on this site.
Yeah, that's got to be tough, because if my wife just wasn't intimate with me, but then she was finding other guys that she would want to be intimate with, I guess that would bother me.
Yes, and I could totally understand.
Maybe not. Maybe if she said, hey, you can go have your fun, actually that might have saved our marriage. And we've actually interviewed people where that has saved their marriage.
I believe that. Yep.
Where the wife let the husband have a sugar baby, and he was fulfilling the needs that weren't being fulfilled. He didn't want to leave his wife. He didn't want to leave his children. He was still in love with everything that he had there, but the intimacy part was just, there was a big void there. And so he was getting that filled, and I can't remember. It's more on our early episodes. I can't remember exactly which ones, but he came back and he just felt more complete and more happy with what he had. So it's interesting because, like you, I've always chased that 50s traditional, find a girl, marry her, the woman of your dreams, have 2 kids, get a great job, and live happily ever after. And I say this all the time. Not only it's not working for me, and I thought, well, maybe something's wrong with me. It's not working for anybody I know, right? Nobody I went to high school with, nobody I went to college with is really experiencing this. And when I say nobody, I'm meaning most everybody. Yep. Like, you'll find one or two or a few people, but the majority of people are not finding success in a traditional marriage anymore. And it bothers me because, I'm a religious person. I'm very spiritual. I don't follow any particular practice at this point, but I still believe there's something greater out there for us, and it's guiding us. And it's always been, a religious or spiritual thing that you get married, you don't cheat on your wife or your husband, and you're faithful, and you go, you do all these traditional things. And why is it so hard?
Yeah, exactly.
Why, if that's what we're supposed to do, why has our God of the skies made it so hard for us, right? I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's a lifelong question, I guess. And it just seems like it's getting harder and harder with all of the information and the availability now of people. Like, it was pretty easy not to cheat on my wife because I just didn't really have the opportunities. I wasn't seeking. But now, if I wanted to, it'd be so easy. You go online. There's a list of people in alphabetical order that are willing and waiting for you, and they're available. And you just go through and pick which ones you want to message and see if you can find a match. It's so you don't even have to leave your house. Yeah. Where before you'd have to go out, do things, meet people in the wild.
And you'd have to hide it. You'd be in a small community, and you'd have to hope your wife doesn't find out that the other girl in church is with her husband. Yeah,
it's so tough. So now it's just getting harder and harder with technology now for people, to stay faithful and to stay monogamous. Now, Lily and Trucker, they're a great couple, and they just say they're both designed to have one partner, and that's it. They just want to be with each other, and that's it. And I wish I could be like that, but it's just very difficult. Alejandra and I, we've been dating now for 2 years, and we went exclusive for 8 months, and it was driving me crazy. And I was faithful to her, and she was faithful to me, but it just started feeling like a marriage, and I just felt like I wasn't out there meeting people anymore. I wasn't making connections and contacts, and my fire was going out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I want to let this fire go out, this passion, this desire, because it just started getting mundane and old, and we're just like, hey, how are you? We just see each other all the time, right? And you get it.
Yeah.
It's so tough.
It really is.
So.
Yeah, and I'm the same as you had. Growing up, I never saw a marriage that I thought, oh, that's goals. I would love to have that. Look at how well those. I never had that. It was always either I saw marriages that were falling apart and there was just drama and fighting. And you think, why are these two people even together? Or you see marriages where two people are like corpses and they are just doing the same routine every day, and you can tell that they're not fulfilled.
I know.
But they're just like, well, this is how it is. And I got into that routine too. I was, before getting married, I had all these, I loved to explore, and I would travel, and I was always doing all of these things. And then when I got married, you sort of build a cage for yourself.
Right.
And I locked myself in that cage, and for the first few years, that's what I wanted. So I was very happy with it. It was okay. But then I started to get that feeling of my fire going out. It was like I've lost the person that I was. And yes, I've built this cage, but I feel trapped in this cage that I've built. And I call it the golden cage because I have a great situation. You know, somebody from the outside looking in would say, you have it all. This is so perfect. And so it was my golden cage because inside I was like, but I'm so unhappy. And I feel like this resentment that's building up is now coming out at everyone else around me because it's getting harder and harder for me to contain that I'm unhappy all the time. And this is what I see in other people's marriages. I see this resentment coming out against their kids. I see it coming out in their behavior. They're drinking, they're doing drugs, they're gambling, they're seeking something to fill this hole that is all this contempt and resentment that's building up that they can't talk about with their partner.
Yeah.
I was lucky that I had the ability to talk about that with my partner. There are a lot of people who could never bring up to their husband or wife, you know, this is not fulfilling for me, or, you know, maybe the sex isn't great, or I would rather see other people. They could never. Like, it would be instant divorce. And I know in a lot of guys' cases it would be terrifying because a divorce is the end of a lot that they've built. You know, they really get taken through the courts and losing their children. So a lot of guys will stick in horrific marriages because they don't want to lose their children. So I'm really fortunate that I didn't have that situation. And because I had seen that growing up, I was determined I was not going to do this to my husband. And he knows that. We have that trust that I am never taking off with your kids and doing the whole you can't see them thing. And it doesn't matter what kind of fights we get into. We're never going to turn it into that kind of drama and misery. And why do that? It's hard enough already.
Right.
And being in a situation, you know, you walk into a marriage, and I was the same as you. I had these lofty ideas that, you know, okay, maybe it's not working at first, but we're going to build on it and we're going to make it work. And a lot of people think, well, once you have children, you know, it'll get better, it'll change, you'll connect more. But the reality is, once you have children, the stress and the pressure breaks you further and further apart. And so once you get to that point, I don't know. I believe that there are couples out there that can have those perfect marriages.
Yeah, and I don't discourage it. And if that's your dream, go for it. I just don't. I'm just curious why it's not working. But as we talk about, I think, you know, we've hit a lot of key points of why it's not. All right. Well, let's get to now you're out there, and you met some people.
I did, and you know, so I had Lily do a profile review for me, and the truth is I never got a chance to put it on Seeking.
Oh, really?
So my sugar daddy came from Reddit.
Oh,
of all places.
The Sugar Lifestyle Forum?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good for him.
Totally random. Yeah, he had reached out to me, and he was initially looking for cuddling.
Okay.
So that was kind of how he came about it. He sees a professional cuddler, but it totally platonic, and he was looking for someone where, you know, we could actually go out, go places, take you to a restaurant, let's go out for drinks, we'll do the platonic cuddling, and if it becomes intimacy, that would be great, but that isn't the main goal. And I thought, well, that's interesting. Well, let's talk on the phone and see. And he turned out to be a fantastic guy.
Now, how long have you been seeing him?
This is 2 months.
Okay. And how's the structure of the arrangement?
Once to twice a month.
Okay.
And we usually do... First, like now, it's actually getting to be more. It started, it was once or twice a month, but really, once I go back, I'll probably see him twice in the same week. And we'll usually do like a dinner or a lunch date first, and then the second one will be a hotel.
Okay.
Date.
And is he like a PPM or allowance, or how's that structured?
Okay. It's a PPM, especially just to start. And
yeah.
I was okay with that. I assume PPM.
It's less pressure that way.
Yeah, and for me, because I'm new to this, I didn't know how I was going to react. Play it as we go. So do the PPM. I'll see how I feel about this, and if it progresses, great. So I can talk about prices on here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, in Canada, my understanding is that it's a little bit different. So for us, I guess like an average is between $300 and $500.
Okay.
So I'm fortunate. I'm $500.
Okay, good.
PPM.
Which is about, what, $400 US?
What's that?
Are you about $1.20? Where are you at?
I don't know. Good question.
To the US dollar?
Good question. Well, I put in 200 and got 122 back.
Oh, you did?
I'm coming for this trip, so.
Shoot, then you're higher than that. So it's one. Okay, all right.
So, but that's decent in Canada, and I imagine the monthly is about $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay,
and that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good anywhere.
Oh yeah, so here as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So people hear these lofty things about you getting 1,000 ppm and this and that. But
yeah, but you know what? That's more the fringes that we. I get people contact the show or write me and it's like, these numbers you're talking about is ridiculous. I get $1,500 per meet and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, but the majority of the girls are not getting that. Like 98% are not getting that. Yeah, there are some getting that. So I'm glad you're getting that, but I'm talking in generalities, like what the average people are getting. Yeah. So yeah,
and it's reasonable, especially when you're first starting out. The guy has to invest his money, and he has to know first that you're going to be the type of person that's not going to flake on him, not going to cause him drama.
Right.
So I think it's reasonable to start at something that is fair for both. It doesn't have to be overly extravagant. And if he really likes me and he wants to continue taking care of me and it goes up from there, that'd be great. And that would be him deciding that I'm worth that investment.
Now, have you found your fire is burning again?
Yes.
And you're getting excited?
Yes, absolutely. Just getting into the flirtation part and that's a thrill. That's a thrill for me to do that because for so long, like it was like dead inside. I didn't really have any. Maybe some fantasies, but I didn't really have fantasies or sexual thoughts. And you get into a lull. I was just talking last night with a girl about this. For women, you can go dormant sexually.
Yeah.
Where if you're not doing it long, like after a certain amount of time, you completely
you don't use it, you lose it.
Absolutely. And I didn't even have any drive to masturbate. I didn't anything at all for years.
Right.
For years, and that wasn't like me because I was a very sexual person before getting married. So this has reignited everything. my fantasy life, it's been wonderful.
That's great. All right, so tell us a little bit about your journey to Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
So, you decided you wanted to come to the party.
Yeah.
And we were like, great, you're in, just come see us. You had a flight scheduled to get into Arizona like 3 p.m. or so on a Friday, which would have given you plenty of time.
Yeah.
What the hell happened?
Well, Air Canada had other plans for me. So I actually had left at 8 o'clock in the morning, my time, to be able to make it into Toronto. I was supposed to do a layover in Chicago and then to Phoenix. And by the time I got to Toronto, it was like, oh, there's a delay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. And then it was, we've scrapped that flight to Chicago completely. That plane is no good. We have to replace that plane.
Nightmare.
So it went on for another couple hours. I was like, okay, fine. And then now, at this point, I had only had 2 hours of sleep the night before because, I was excited about the party.
Yeah.
I had insomnia. So I'm sleeping under chairs on the airport floor, and every time I'm trying to nap, and I have this broken sleep, and every time I wake up, I'm checking my phone, and it's another message, further delays, further delays, further delays. So I didn't actually get to board that plane until 10 p.m. my time, and then there was another 4 hours or so to get over. But, in either case, I ended up showing up at the party at 2 a.m.,
You came to our mixer
Yes.
at the W. Now, you just got a small taste of it, but what were your thoughts once you finally got there?
I was intimidated. I was
Yeah.
really intimidated at first. Even just taking the Uber there, after the day I had. And
Well, I called you an Uber, and then you couldn't find your luggage.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got their luggage except me.
Oh, I was in tears by that
Yeah.
point. I was like,
Like,
this
what
is
else can
terrible.
go wrong?
What else? Yeah, I was like, this party is just falling apart. And, for the longest time when they kept giving me those flight delays, I really felt like I'm not even going to make it to this party. Like I'm just not going to get this flight. I'm not going to go. And I've been anticipating this for so long, and I'm so excited, and I can't believe I can't go. Yeah, and then with the luggage, just watching everyone else that was on my flight take their luggage, and I'm just pacing, and staring at that thing. Yeah, so it was hellish. So now I'm in the Uber on the way there, and I'm thinking, I feel like garbage, and I'm tired, and we're 4 hours ahead. So for me, it's like 6 in the morning.
Right.
I'm going off 2 hours sleep, and I'm going to go into this place with all these gorgeous women and all these wealthy men, and I'm rolling in looking like So I was intimidated, but people were really welcoming right from the moment when I walked in the door, and everybody was quite drunk by the time I showed up.
Yeah,
So.
they'd had a few.
They'd had a few. So, people were really friendly, and it was a great party. And so I just got enough time to go around and say my hellos, and then the party was over.
Yeah. And then we put you in a nice little Airbnb.
Oh, yes.
Actually, you're in one of my houses. Nice and quiet, cool.
It was great, and I was with a great group of people.
Great group of people.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so tell us about Saturday, which was yesterday. We're recording this on Sunday. Tell us about the concert day.
Amazing. I had high expectations.
Yeah.
Because of everything I've
Well,
heard.
I built it up.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was exceeded my expectations.
Good.
Even with it was wonderful. So the whole day and the whole night was absolutely fantastic. The concert was great. I turned out to enjoy it even more than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm.
The vibe was fantastic. Everybody was dancing and talking. And
Well, let's start with the pre-party. So we had this really cool pre-party before, and Lily and Blue Eyed Princess from New Jersey and Amanda from the Dichotomy Diaries put together this most unbelievable setup of charcuterie.
Beautiful.
Wait, how do we say charcuterie?
Charcuterie.
Okay, you're from,
Charcuterie,
yeah.
I love that.
And put together all these dips and chips, and the alcohol was all stacked nice. We had a bartender. It was all done at my house.
Yep.
And everybody congregated there, and we kind of got to know each other even better. And then we had the party bus show up.
Oh, yes.
What'd you think of the party bus?
That party bus. That was my first time.
Yeah.
The whole weekend of first for me. That was my first time on a party bus. 2 stripper poles. And it was wild. I mean, right from as soon as you get those poles and a couple drinks into women, it just gets, woo, it was great. So the ride there was fantastic. And I did get a chance to work the pole.
I saw that.
A little bit of twerking, which I wasn't expecting. But Victoria,
the inhibitions kind of, were a little less, and a lot of people work the pool.
Yeah, well, it started with Victoria. That girl is a party.
Oh,
and
man.
She doesn't just come to the party, she brings the party.
Right.
She's wild. I just adore her. So, she started working the pole, and then she was like, come on. And I was like, oh, you only live once, come on.
Right.
So I got up and I did a little bit of twerking, and then it started like you tag the next person, they go up and they go up. So we ended up seeing pretty much everybody doing a nice little pole routine.
It was a lot of fun. And then we had 2 really nice suites at the concert, private suites. We loaded them up with more alcohol, more food. They had bathrooms nearby. And the music was really good. It was fun.
It really was.
Yeah.
And it was my first time ever being in a suite. So, my first experience. And I love the view. I love that you are looking down over the crowd.
It's the VIP view.
It absolutely was. So not only are you enjoying this amazing concert, but I love watching all of the people enjoy themselves.
Right.
You see the people dancing and hugging and having a great time, and you can see the entire stadium. It was a huge luxury.
Right.
To have that.
So that was 3 hours of debauchery, and then it even got crazier.
Wow.
The party bus back, everybody's dancing now. Not just a few people, everybody was dancing.
Absolutely.
We had $2 throwing around $2 bills. That was crazy.
I was laughing with the girl beside me. It was like a bingo card of, okay, what are we going to see next? It's like 2 girls kissing, stamp that card.
Yeah.
Some twerking and asses coming out, stamp that card. Oh, the tits come out, stamp that card. So it was great. But you know what I didn't anticipate seeing was the men working a pole. You did a pretty good job.
I did a little bit. Not as good a job as $2.
Yeah, and Trucker.
Trucker.
Blew my mind. That man can work a pole.
Trucker, I think he was as inebriated I've ever seen him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's such a calm, collected guy, but he really enjoyed that whole concert experience. So we had fun.
Wonderful. It was a great.
So anyway, it doesn't stop there, folks.
No, no.
The bus dropped us off at my house at about, probably about midnight. So then, of course, everybody's got the munchies. We still have all the snacks and appetizers from the pre-party. And then, being hotter than hell in Phoenix, people decided they just wanted to jump in the pool and took off all their clothes and jumped in the pool.
Yeah, that was something. Just sitting there on the couch, and all of a sudden, it was just like, is that girl skinny dipping in your pool? And then it was like 2 girls, 3 girls, and then it was like
6 girls,
like
12 girls, 15 girls.
Yeah, it was like the grotto. It was like, wow, you've got like a dozen naked women swimming in your pool.
Yeah, that was
even phased.
Unexpected. We didn't have that. That didn't happen in November last year, so that was a nice little surprise.
Things of the weekend that I did not anticipate. Ending up in your pool in my G-string.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of people have you met here?
Fantastic people from all over. It's been amazing. All different personalities. Like really diverse personalities here. Even more than I anticipated, coming from different backgrounds and just totally different fashion styles, different lifestyle choices. Just it's been great. And everybody's really open and really friendly about talking about their past and about their, being in the sugar lifestyle and willing to give advice. I had some great conversations with some girls that go to sex clubs. I've never been to one, but I'm curious. And there's actually a girl who runs sex clubs.
Really?
Yeah. at her place with her roommate.
Wow.
And I was just from Australia. You know who I'm talking about?
Okay.
Yeah, so it was great. We were just talking about, how do you do something like that? And how do you navigate the strange things that must come up? When you have a lot of people getting sexual in a place, like how do you navigate jealousies? How do you navigate consent? And for me, my question was, how do people navigate rejection? Like you go to a sex club and you see all of these people just kind of doing whatever, but what if you really like somebody, but you're being rejected? For me, that would be really hard. Like, I don't know how I would take that. Like, if I want to be with this guy and he's like, no, I'm not interested, but this girl over here, like, I would take that personally,
Right.
Like, how do you not do that when you're at a sex club?
Yeah. Think you'll be keeping in touch with any of the girls?
Absolutely. I absolutely must. And I'm on the WhatsApp, so I get a chance to talk with them. And I got to know them a little bit pre-party, so that was nice, kind of open things up, so it's not total strangers,
right?
But it was great because it took for me for a long time they're just pictures on a computer.
So isn't it interesting when you meet them face to face?
Exactly.
Sometimes people turn out exactly like you thought they were, and other people are like, oh wow, you're different in person than I thought you would be.
Yeah. A lot of people, it's a half mix. There are some people that their personalities are so out there on the WhatsApp that you're like, I kind of know what you're going to be like.
Yeah.
And then people who are a little more quiet that you didn't know, that when you meet them, it's a nice little surprise.
Now, we had one girl from Austin, and you're going to know who I'm talking about. We could tell on WhatsApp she was just the calming, soothing, peaceful person in the chat, and she was just the source of zen. And when she showed up, it's exactly how she was. Just a calming force to this crazy thing. So that was really, and we got a chance to talk to her because she stayed actually in my house.
Oh, okay.
So Alejandra and I got a chance to visit with her on the couch and just talk about life, and it was really neat.
She's a sweetheart.
Oh, absolutely.
She got wild on that party bus.
You know what? That took me by surprise because I'm like, this girl's so calm and zen, and here she is working that pole like nobody's business. So it was definitely a weekend you'll never forget.
Oh, for sure.
And I know I said that so many times when I built this party up, but I think you're going to be thinking about this party for the rest of your life.
Oh, I know that I will.
And you're going to have friends that you're going to keep in contact with for the rest of your life. And that's the beautiful thing, too, with social media and, these texting apps and everything. It's harder to lose touch with somebody. It's easier to keep in contact with people now. Back when I've lost touch with people I went to high school with and college with. I have no idea where they're at anymore or what they're doing or some of them have changed their last names now and all this, but because we didn't have Facebook in 1987, and all these texting apps. So, yeah.
And with these people, I share this sort of little, because we're all in the sugar lifestyle. It's more that I'm going to keep in touch with them, and we'll be able to have this little thing that I just can't have with my friends and family at home.
Right.
I've told some people, my close friends, and they accept it, but they can't really discuss it. It's not the sort of thing I would discuss all the details with, but the people that I've met here are so open that absolutely, it would be a joy for me to be able to keep them long term.
Well, we appreciate you coming. We appreciate everything that you went through to get here.
It was well worth it. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and for those of you can't see her, but she is absolutely one of the most stunning 42-year-olds I have seen in a long time. I'm telling you, when you walked in, everybody noticed. Everybody.
Wow, thank you. I learned something this weekend, that I take absolutely horrible photos.
You are, and I was going to tell you, your photos do not do you justice. You're one of these rare people that are so much better looking in person. Usually it's the other way around. They show up and you're like, ooh, when was this taken? Like 11 years ago? But you, with your smile and your skin and just the way you present yourself, you got to get a better photographer. I'm serious, because your photos do not do you justice.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I've been told that a lot this weekend from a lot of people. So
you're one of these surprises, because everybody's expecting something, and then you show up and they're like, where'd this beauty queen come from? All right. Well, if you guys want to join us on our next party, we're going to have one. Our goal is to have 2 a year, and we've got one that we're planning, I think, in November. All the information is going to be on our Patreon and our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com. But more importantly, go to our Patreon, because it's interactive. You're going to love it. You're going to love these photos and videos and chatting with the people in the group chat. who came to the party, and the ones that want to come to the party, and ones that just want to talk sugar dating. It's a lot of fun. And that's at patreon.com/Secrets of a Sugar Daddy Podcast. All right. You headed back today?
Yes, tonight.
Okay. We'll have a safe trip. It'll probably be smooth sailing. You'll probably get back and
so.
no delays and everything. Like, wish it could have been that way going here.
Yeah.
You didn't miss that much. So
it made up for it. Saturday made up for it for sure.
Good.
So thank you so much for having me.
It was our pleasure you coming out, and we hope to be in contact with you soon, and maybe we'll see you another time.
Yes.
All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed your Extra Sugar with Marcus. As always, visit our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, to comment or tell us your story.